Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bronyville. This is Bronyville Episode 7, recorded on May 21st, 2011. I, again, am your host, AppleCider, running the boards and doing everything over here on this podcast. I just lowered my seat somehow. That was weird. Great show we got today. We got a great guest, but first let me introduce my always awesome co-host, Chef Sandy.
Hello, hello. And then we have this guest. Who is he, AC?
Who's this guest who we got on board? We have a very, very special guest. Great to have him on board. But we have a Eurobeat Brony, prolific music writer, does a whole bunch of YouTube videos that I'm sure a good number of you have probably heard before. So great to have you on, man. This is going to be fun. Going to be a music episode. So, might talk a little bit about how you make it. Some of these remix stuff. How you go. There's just a lot of free space we can do on this. So it will be fun to kind of roll with it.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be glad to answer any questions, really.
So let's go ahead and do this. We can start as usual with our emails. I do have to say, unfortunately, you guys are too good to us. You guys have completely overloaded us with emails. I try and get back and message to all of you, but we simply just don't have enough time. We would be spending an hour just reading emails on the show, so we have to cut it back a little bit. I am sorry. Definitely still send... Oh, go ahead, Chef.
Single tear.
I was going to say, there would be people out there who probably wouldn't be too concerned about that. But
yeah, it's still
ramble on about ponies.
Yeah, still definitely send your emails across to bronyville@gmail.com. If they're great and you have good questions or you have a really good story, send it across and we'll definitely read it. Speaking of really crazy and interesting stories, I'm going to go ahead and hit this first one because it is long and very interesting and a little bit bizarre. Salutations, Brony Show. I just want to send along the awesome development that I have successfully converted 2 door-to-door Jehovah's Witnesses into the show. Last week, a young husband and wife duo swung by with the books and flyers to hand out and talked a bit about how the world is opening up to the teachings of love and kindness. That morning, I had just discovered your Brony Show podcast, and after divulging in your analytical perspectives of the show, an abundance of recommended fan fiction, MLP was firmly planted in my mind. So when the Jehovah's Witnesses started discussing morals and wholesome role models gaining credence over cynics and naysayers, it became my immediate calling to hijack the conversation and soapbox about ponies.
Woo!
Yep. There's definitely a lot of extra information inside of here, but essentially started talking about every time there was a teaching of Jesus said this, it's like, oh yeah, Twilight Sparkle said this, and did this in this episode. Go on and so forth. They left, ... This morning, the Jehovah's Witnesses returned. Good morning, they said to me. You're that My Little Pony guy, right? They had no pamphlets, no flyers, nothing to hand off. They just came to my door to talk about ponies for a while. So that's a crazy story. You can read the whole thing on our at bronyshow.com and check it out on the actual story thread. But take it for what it's worth if it's true or not. But that's a crazy story of somebody just being like, hey, Jehovah's Witnesses coming to my door. We should talk about friendship and love and ponies.
I just love the fact that every time I see the word naysayers, I hear Trixie say it.
Naysayers. Yes. So great. So terribly great.
Well, hey, they're in the conversion business. They're just not used to getting it on the receiving end, I guess.
Yep.
Join the herd.
Little story, bro.
All right. Well, I'm going to go on to the next email here.
Okay, go for it.
Lord Blaze here. Love the show. Just had a couple comments for you. First off, I've noticed a disturbing trend in your podcast. You ask people who their favorite pony is, and they respond with a pony other than Fluttershy. Since Fluttershy is best pony, clearly you're asking the wrong question. I recommend asking, who is your second favorite pony? Note Fluttershy would still be an acceptable answer. Second, on your last show, Bronette wrote in and said she felt like the fandom was basically a bunch of guys, and she as a girl didn't fit in. I would like to say that Mad Max, who does a bunch of great comics, including X Million Comics for Equestria Daily, is a girl. Maybe talk to her? I personally don't care if a brony is a guy or a girl, as long as they're awesome. Anyways, my 2 bits. Blaze.
Yep.
Well,
And
who is your favorite pony?
yeah, actually, I just completely remembered that we totally forgot that beginning part where we always ask everybody's
No worries.
favorite pony in
skipping
episode.
that. It's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm with
go ahead.
Blaze
Jeff.
here. I'm on the Fluttershy team here, but I can answer the little first part. See, seeing as this is a podcast, they have to allow for, people to be wrong like that, You have to give them the room to have a different answer, to have their own opinion, even if it's the wrong one. Just got to give them a little room for that. Just they'll come around. They'll come around to the Fluttershy side.
It's always
They'll come around.
It's always Twilight Sparkle and Rarity. Always a little Applejack.
That's not how you say Fluttershy.
Kick over mic stand. I'm done. But very cool. What's your favorite episode?
Oh boy, my favorite one has to be Green Is Not Your Color for probably obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of Fluttershy.
Lots of Fluttershy. And
It's just a really good episode.
it is. It's pretty good. Going back and watching that one. We do have. Or go ahead.
No, sorry. I'll be quick. Like, even if it weren't for Fluttershy being Fluttershy, like that, it was a pretty well done episode all around. Like, I don't know, just the writing was done well, the humor was done well. It didn't really have a lot of loose ends, Just all around enjoyable. Plus Fluttershy.
And plus Pinky being weird again. Plus Forever.
Except for not that
The fourth
grim,
wall
dark,
like a
and freaky
boss.
sounding.
Fourth wall like a box coming out of a mirror.
Like a boss.
Bizarre. We have the kind of two other questions that we have on that. What is your how do people kind of react? Do many people know that you're a brony, and if that comes into play, how do they react around you? And how'd you get into it? That's kind of a multi-part, but.
Most people just know that I'm making music that's starting to catch up, on the internet. It doesn't really come around to Pony very often, and if they do ask, it's like, I saw the show was doing really well. It's fun. I did a remix off of one of them, and it's just started taking off, so I started doing remixes from there. The actual show doesn't come up too much, and people realize, they think, he caught on to a fad or to a trend, and that, they just kind of go along their merry way. Haven't really had too much time to discuss the actual show.
Okay.
I'll get around to it.
Yeah, you'll get around to it. You might find a podcast where you could talk about the show a little bit. And
that could also happen.
And to let loose and just be able to let that inner brony out, to really just kind of expunge it.
To come out of the stable, as I heard it said.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't have any connotations to it at all.
None whatsoever.
But just to kind of run back at that bit, that email that kind of got run over because of our forgetfulness. Just the response of Bronette wrote in saying, and Mad Max is a female who is an awesome comic writer. Let's get some commissions done. There's no problem with being a brony and being a girl. That's totally cool.
Yeah, I know several bronettes, like just on DeviantArt and just kind of off and about. I think it's actually a pretty even mix. I think the guys are just a vocal minority, or even a vocal half. It could be a majority, but I still think that there's room for there's still room for the ladies, of course. It's, this kind of show wouldn't really push that side away, if that makes any sense.
Ponies are for everybody to enjoy.
Yep.
We welcome all to the herd.
Ponies are joy for the whole family.
Join us. Even Jehovah's Witnesses are welcome, it seems.
Yep.
Okay, let's see.
We're going to love and tolerate the crap out of them.
So now we got some question times on our next email. I have good feelings about the first two. The third question I'm going to stumble over and defer to you guys because I don't want to even wrap my brain around it. Yo AppleCider and Chef Sandy, like to say your show is the best pony cast in all of the interweb. That's in caps.
All of it.
But whatever.
The whole thing.
I joined the herd near the of season 1. In short, I spent in community. I've gone freaking pony crazy. It is like Pinkie Pie Double Rainbow Boom my brain. Also, the question have come in my wrapped head to get opinion on them gents. Ooh. Oh, boy. Okay.
Okay.
Has anyone decided here begin to look like?
Have you been going now? What's to do? Okay, let's see. First, Why are Applejack and Rainbow Dash shipped so hard, like day a fanfic comes out with some more Apple Dash? So, to translate that, why is there so much Apple Dash?
Because their competitive natures play well off against each other, and you can totally see that working. They had episodes where they were pitted against each other, Fall Weather Friends specifically, and that's sort of a love-hate, hard-working person thing.
I think there's also that sort of clash of the stereotypes. You know, you have sort of the down south sort of mentality versus the sort of the implication of what Rainbow Dash happens to be. You know, there's sort of that they're interested in seeing sort of the two almost opposites, colliding in that sense. You know what they say, opposites attract.
But I almost think that they're two of the more close to each other because they're both like extremely passionate about what they do.
They're motivated for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely two motivated ponies. I don't know. I think Apple Dash is an interesting pair. It's not my first go-to on that. I think it's interesting. For some reason recently, it's been all about Apple Shy for me. If it has to come down to the pairings.
No, I'm not big on shipping myself, so I don't think too much about it.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
I don't know. Deep relationships between characters and the show, it's just something that I have trouble wrapping my head around, I guess.
Oh, I totally understand that. A lot of people's cups.
Not my can of Red Bull.
Okay, second question.
Lots.
Will the elements of harmony ever return? Is there more to the Everfree Forest than a place monster chill out? If do think Trillic the G1 bad guy is involved.
Will they bring back the elements of harmony as an element?
Depends on who writes the story. I could see it done like a two-parter where they come back out, but most likely they won't show up in individual episodes because normally they're a narrative device and they won't show up since they intend for people to be able to watch the shows in pretty much any order.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past the current sort of direction and staff and whatnot to at least try to get something more plot-driven out of it, If I remember right, there was an intention towards the beginning to make it a lot more like the first two episodes, but as per Hasbro's request, they kept things going more in a traditional route. So who knows? Maybe this next season we'll see a little bit more action-y, adventure-y sort of stuff.
I still think it's the upcoming movie. My girlfriend kind of said it too, and that we're going to have a movie at some point, and we can bring all that back.
Bring back the schmooze!
Yep.
Oh my!
It keeps spreading the rumors that Lauren's working on a big motion picture, and that that's going to be all sorts of crazy on that. I'm just going to keep spreading those.
Yeah, they already had a Hasbro property out there. Could you imagine?
This summer, 6 ponies. 1 dragon. Join the action. Starring Keanu Reeves as Spike. We gotta get to the top of that mountain. Whoa!
Oh my god.
Holy
God.
God.
Strongest. My Little Pony.
Everybody hoof clap. Everyone right now is required. Wow, this happened.
I'm here all week. My throat is already gone, though.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Oh,
hey,
wow.
It's the next Hasbro thing. It's got to happen. I, for one, would go.
Yeah. I think that they would see an odds, a mix. There'd be, all the 16 to 35 guys and then parents with little girls staring each other down.
I think
on very polarized ends of the theater.
I think it would be dumb if this group doesn't keep going up to season 3, that Hasbro doesn't look at it. If it goes on multiple seasons, that they don't be like, it does, let's see, we do how many of these 20-minute shows, make an hour-and-a-half movie, produce, could make us some money,
Nah.
Yeah.
It's not popular enough.
Yeah. Well, no, who knows? It could be fun.
I don't know. They've been making some better decisions lately, so I wouldn't put it past them.
I like to dream. Okay. Third question. List the main 6 form oldest to youngest.
Form
Form of youngest to oldest.
All right. So I have my list. So I think Fluttershy is the oldest. She's older than Pinkie Pie by at least a year.
Yes, that is.
I would say that Rarity is probably the second oldest.
Okay.
With Pinkie Pie and Applejack being the same general age.
Okay.
With Twilight and Dash being the youngest.
Okay.
Because Dash is so much smaller and stubbier than even the other Philly Pegasus.
Okay.
Or Tiny Pegasus.
So your order is Flutter, Rarity, Pinkie, Apple, Dash, Twilight.
Twilight and Dash.
Twilight, Dash.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Yeah. And Spike is the super youngest. Yes.
All right. I have similar groupings, but I have it slightly shifted. I think Rarity and Applejack are sort of tied-ish for the oldest. I don't know. They just seem like the more elderish-ist to me, you know?
Okay.
Followed very closely by Fluttershy, keeping the order sort of like that. They're the three oldest, at least. Followed by Twilight, and then I think Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie take up the sort of last two. Rainbow Dash does seem like one of the more sort of youthful ponies, with Pinkie, you know, taking into account that a year's difference might mean, you know, the difference between sort of middle and towards the last there.
Okay.
They're probably fairly close in age. It's just the only one that has given a strong demarcation is Fluttershy is a year old, Pinkie Pie.
All right, I'm going to go with this way. I'm going to go Flutter, Apple, Rarity, Pinkie, Twilight, Dash. That's going to be my order.
You have those lined up on your desk, don't you?
I do. I have them lined up that way.
That's awesome.
I just don't have. I don't have Dash right now, but I have them all ordered up, and they're all hanging out next to me. Hey guys, what's up?
They're watching you record,
and looking on with me with terror.
Who knows?
And Celestia is the oldest of them all. Celestia's oldest.
Well, we have decrypted Cloud Drifter's arcane runes to bring you that email.
Hooray.
So onward to the news. Tell us, AC, what has been going on in the wide, wide world of ponies?
Okay, well, the first one is a little bit personal for us. A little bit personal.
Yeah,
and
just a bit.
I'm going to move the microphone a little bit away so I can do this.
I'm using it for the microphone to breathe away.
Okay, all right, I'm better. So,
Yay.
we got the notice a few days ago that well, go ahead. You were the one that found it originally, Chef. So you go for it. You get the discovery. Go.
All right. So I was just hanging out late night in the My Little Pony IRC channel, and one of the guys in the channel said, "Hey, it's just Andy. How would you feel if Golden Russet was listening to your show?" I was like, "Well, first of all, I'd ask if they were joking, and I would then feel really, really validated and excited if he was." And then he was like, "Oh no, look at his Twitter," and he actually did tweeted like, "Oh yeah, I'm listening to Bronyville with my wife." And if it wasn't like 1 a.m, I would have been like running around cheering. That would have woke everybody up, and that would have been bad. So I was like, oh, so excited, and I couldn't really tell anybody because I think were you asleep, AC? I don't know.
No. I was awake. I was totally awake. We were both geeking
that's right.
out.
I did tell you.
And I made a post that night. If you actually go to Brony's show, it's the second post right under the last episode, where you can see the snapshot of Golden Russet. The Twitter post is, Golden Russet just discovered and am listening to the Bronyville podcast with Cutesy Poo, which is his wife, and then a pound MLP. So that's awesome. So
he hasn't tweeted that he hasn't tweeted that he hates it or likes it. I don't know. But the fact that he did, the fact that he did listen is pretty validating.
Slightly validated for at that point 5-episode show. That was
times like that though. Like I hate when you find something out really cool in like midnight or 2 a.m. All you can do is just sort of do this, yay, sort of thing,
Exactly.
I was literally sitting at the front because I had told my girlfriend, and she was like, "Whatever, I'm playing Portal." You know, I literally was sitting at the front door of our apartment, just waiting for our roommates to come in. You know, and the moment they popped through the door, I was like, "Hi, guess what?" You know, because they know I haven't hid the weirdness from them. But yeah, that was very cool. So we had just so everybody knows, in case they aren't aware, Golden Russet is for season 1 was the supervising director of Friendship is Magic, and QC Poo, who was mentioned, has done some storyboard work. So we had one of the main producers, if not the main producer now, listening to the show. So hooray! Yay!
Yay!
That was so super cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, we're popular now. It's a thing.
Yeah, you gotta love the connection that the creators and like the movers and shakers of the show have with the community. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
What's not
Wonders
amazing?
of the internet.
So what's not amazing, Chef? This is late breaking news. Moving on to our next little segue here. We've got some terrible, terrible news, at least in the fan fiction world. If you would like to explain.
Oh, yeah.
Google Docs is apparently banning certain members for terms of service violations. Couple certain fics that have been hosted on Google Docs have been restricted for violating terms of service. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to the bannings. Perfectly safe fics have been banned alongside some of the more cloppy ones. Case in point, In the Depths of Equestria, which from what I understood was completely safe for work, is gone, while Cupcakes is not. I don't know if this is a glitch. Obviously, as we're recording it, as it occurs, by the time this episode is released, they'll probably have some sort of resolution. But it is one of those things where people's stuff is getting, oh, well, too bad you worked on that story for a while. You wrote some clop stuff and posted it, so it's all gone now. It's a pretty scary proposition for all the work a lot of people have put into stories.
Yeah, and it's weird, too, because it's not even necessarily clop. It could be, as said, there's some completely legitimate works out there that are that look like they're getting kind of hosed out of Google Doc land, so probably by Wednesday we'll have a little bit more. By the time this gets posted, that may have all changed. They may have figured it out. Google may have, decided that, hey, but Google hates ponies. There, I said it. They realize that we're taking up too much of the internet, and they're trying to stop us.
It's one of those things that I don't think anyone should really panic about. Just keep local backups, post to DA, post on fanfiction.net. Until this is figured out, so that your work isn't taken down for whatever reason.
Yeah, don't write your entire thing on Google Docs. That might not be a good idea.
Not the most cunning plan, no.
Keep a backup. So, I'll do the next one. Massive thank you to Hasbro from Pony-chan. So, looks like that the gang over at Pony-chan decided, just because, they created an awesome community, and they have gotten all these people together, that they wanted to just do a great big old send-off to the Hasbros, so that way they people would just recognize or understand how much fun and how much great stuff's been happening because of this community that's kind of sprouted up. So they started a post and created this massive thank you letter of 615 plus responses. All being sent to Hasbro. Just like, hey, thanks for the show. Thank you. This has been so much fun. This is amazing. People giving their personal stories and everything. Just to kind of explain, hey, they absolutely love this community. Thank you for, what you have done with all this. And, the things that they have done, like allowing Derpy to be a main character, the new commercial that pretty much states that DJ Pone 3 is actually real, and that they actually called out the Bronies. So, just a big piece of appreciation.
Exist.
Yep, they know we're here. I was kind of sad I wasn't able to add to it, but whatever. I'm sure that my signature amongst the 615 plus probably would have been, just as much unseen as ever, but just a really cool kind of send-off to Hasbro for what they've done.
They seem to be doing a lot of things right, I suppose. It's cool to see them getting some thanks for it.
Yeah, I mean, for what they do, showing appreciation probably is really validating. It's like Daniel Ingram's never expected to be noticed for what he's done, and he suddenly has this internet fan base, and I'm sure that everyone else associated with the show is kind of like, wow, where'd this come from?
It's a good way to reinforce more of the same, right?
Always just trying to try and reinforce all that. Now, I love the next one less for the fact of what the actual blog post is, but more along the lines of how wrong the poster was. Okay, so here we got Equestria Girls featured on CNN. So CNN made this little post on their marquee blog stating, hey, guess what? You know, this My Little Pony show, which nobody over the age of 6 actually watches, has this, play of Katy Perry's, California Girls done with Equestria Girls. It's kind of interesting. Okay. Which one? Okay, awesome. We're posted on CNN blog. And 2, let's see, how many comments did that particular thread get? 318. Now, just to give you an idea, I'm reading through the most recent comments that they received on that blog. Let's see, Jane Lynch hosts Emmy Awards, 78. Angelina Jolie, 73. Fear Factor returning, 22. And we had over 300 for ponies. So I think whoever wrote that is probably eating their words a little bit.
They actually did link to Sophisto's upload of the video, and it's up to 159,058 views.
Oh wow,
not bad.
Though it's funny that they would go to the site to get their upload, or maybe they just picked it up off of YouTube. But the fact that it says that if you are not of 7, there's a good chance you're unaware of this when there's a stupid community.
Yeah, kind of missing the point there, CNN.
Silly CNN. You don't know pony at all, do you?
We're going to love and tolerate the crap out of you anyway.
Yep, we sure will. Okay, books, fanfics. Time to move along this little podcast. So, time for some of you to tune out your iTunes because you just aren't interested in fanfic. But just some quick little suggestions on our side, and I know that we've gotten a few really cool people saying, "Hey, thanks a ton for your fanfic suggestions." Looks like that they are definitely helping you guys out. I'm going to give a suggestion, and you've probably heard this one a few times mentioned by us, but I finally got the time to read it. Dungeons, Dragons, and a Little Friendship. I was shocked at how fun this was. It is really well written. It is otherworldly characters get turned into ponies. Now they're in this adventure in, Equestria, so whatever. If that's not your cup of tea, it may not be your thing. But it is expertly written. It is great. It is somebody who really knows how to write, doing their thing. And I'm a little bit familiar with the version for D&D, but it was just, adding that and then having a full story, which doesn't even necessarily have to be pony, but it was pony. Made it that much better. It's a really good, if you're kind of interested in fantasy, medieval, magic, sorcery, all that kind of stuff, I would highly recommend it. Check it out. Dungeons, Dragons, and a Little Friendship. Chef, go ahead and go with, what's your role this week?
All right. So mine is called Crusaders of the Lost Mark. It is by Midnight Shadow and Tenure, and is not, in fact, anything related to Indiana Jones, which actually I don't think anybody has quite done any stories in that vein yet. It is an adventure story featuring the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Also, an outsider comes to town, and it's a great little adventure story where the Cutie Mark Crusaders try to earn their cutie marks by being town patrolmen.
Oh, interesting.
After the blacksmith comes to town and gives them armor.
I could see how amazingly passionate Apple Bloom sometimes gets to some things that this could go terribly crazy. Yeah, that sounds like that could be fun.
Yes. It is a very cute story, and the blacksmith is voiced by Heavy from TF2.
Okay, that makes it better, too. I could just see Apple Bloom. Hey, you littering? No, but don't you think to? All right.
I'm
Stop
sorry.
right there, criminal scum.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't get the blacksmith out of my head. Pony is credit to team.
Yeah, seriously, read the story and you'll read it in Heavy's voice. It is great.
You have set the stakes very high, my friend. I hope when I read it, I can get that.
Put on a spinza here. All right, that'll be good. So Eurobeat, you had to pull back a little bit to your memory to try and find a little bit of a fanfic to read, but it looks like you found us one. So tell us about The Big Rush.
Big Rush by Lucres. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Lucres. I don't read a lot of fics, but this one, I came across this one, and it's a pretty well-written one about a griffin that runs a restaurant in Equestria, and Pinkie Pie is one of the chefs in the back, and she's not particularly good at what she does, but everyone just seems to kind of love her anyway. One of the sous chefs, one of the chefs just kind of talks her out, kind of chews her out for not doing a very good job, and the griffin is just kind of... It's just sort of the everyday workings of an equestrian kitchen. There's a little bit of language, but it's very well done, sort of giving Pinkie some background, just very well characterized, just very solid. There weren't another one where there wasn't a lot of real loose ends to it. Mm-hmm. I was highly recommended.
Okay.
I'm not very good at describing it.
Oh, no problem.
Good.
Hey,
Yeah.
that is fine. All right, so that takes care of our fanfics. Definitely try and give a read to those. I know that there's so much coming out all the time that I totally understand if you get a little bit caught up on it. It's hard enough for us to find suggestions each week, I know. At least on my side. So let's move on. Mame time. Hey, Chef. There's a lot of weird words, weird terms that come across in this bizarro community. So we pulled through the internet. We found some of the weird ones. So I really want you to tell me, I've heard this weird clip of confound these ponies, and I see it come up in image macros and things like that every once in a while where it's like, confound these ponies, they drive me to insomnia. What's that all about? Tell me where that comes from.
Okay, so this comes from Know Your Meme, which actually is a really useful site, and it's meme, by the way. It started in a series of image macros on CO, I'm sure most of us are aware of, and became well known as it spread through the viewers of Yardovich's Pony Sync Tube. And when there was less episodes to watch, and the Bronies would pass the time watching other videos, the image macro led them to watch an episode of Chuck Jones's The Dover Boys of Pimento University, which I've honestly never heard of, but I've seen that particular clip, confound those ponies, and which the Dover Boys villain Dan Backslide proclaims, confound those Dover Boys, they drive me to drink. And what's great is that they have, at least in that clip, audio edited to make him say ponies, but there's the confound these ponies drive me to drink, insomnia, insanity.
All sorts of weird things.
When you get obsessed with ponies, when you have sonic rain booms in your brain, confound those ponies, they drive you to drink.
Confound those ponies, they drive me to podcast. Drive me.
Yeah.
Confound those ponies, they drive me to remix.
Yep. So if you ever feel like you just have too much pony, that pony compels you. Just at the top of your lungs.
Confound those ponies.
Confound them. Confound them every day.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, the episode that came from, the original cartoon, is pretty good example of just really good animation. It's a good watch when you need a break from the pony.
A lot of our fans seem to, when they have run out of pony, go to G1 ponies, but maybe they should go over to some other stuff. Otherwise, they might get a pony intoxication. But yeah, that's an interesting little history of the confound these ponies. I know that I use that a good deal. Even Unanimous Delivers, one of his videos that I really like, the 1,000 subscribers video. That one it starts with a modified sound clip that says "confound these ponies," which I really love and want to cut and put it in an audio package and have it be the intro of the show. But that's for the future. That's for future thoughts. All right. So that pretty much takes care of that. Thank you, Chef, for the information so that our listening audience can be aware of the crazy poniness?
Do my best to help.
Man, yeah.
So we've got our special guest here. We got Eurobeat on. He does cool music, so we should talk about cool music now.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yep.
I was going to say, yeah, how about that Macon guy, or Not a Clever Pony? He's pretty cool, right, Evie?
Oh, totally. Actually, Not a Clever is a fantastic composer. Just like, I'm not even kidding there.
Just play around.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Too. Yeah.
Just beat around the question and talk about everyone else.
But we're here to talk to you.
Yeah, we've got Euro.
Fair enough.
So,
oh man, I was really stoked on hearing Not a Clever.
Not a Clever's work is really good. Yeah. So let's just kind of go into this. How did you kind of get started doing the remixes? What kind of compelled you just to be like, oh, hey, I like this show. I should probably, take the stuff and make my own versions of it.
Oh man, it's a good question. Let's see. Back in January, I came to a through a cross post on A about ponies. I know I have bad taste in boards. I barely go, and I barely went even back then. And the people were abuzz about, was Evil Enchantress around in January? I don't recall.
That was a fairly early episode.
Yeah, so I caught up around about January, and kind of when that song was new, someone wanted to do their own remix or something like that with the vocals extracted. And I said, hey, I can extract those vocals. I have the equipment to do that. I have the program that'll be able to chop it out. It didn't work. So I'm like, okay, I'm not too big on the show, but, I'd love to, maybe I could just remix it real quick, just get an instrumental going just to make up for it. The guy was very graceful. He's like, oh, yeah, no biggie. Someone else can probably chop it out. And so I just kind of tossed the main melody together, and it just sort of took off. I think once it got posted on YouTube is when people started really catching it, but people really liked it. Started wondering if I would do, was Winter Wrap-Up out? It had to have been shortly around Winter Wrap-Up, because people started going like, hey, will there be a Eurobeat remix? Like, what? Really? Do you guys want more? I thought it would just be something that people would look at and go, oh, that's nice, and just kind of move on. Mm-hmm. Then I started doing Winter Wrap-Up, and then the whole fiasco of not including melody came in, but hey, no, even bad press is still press, but yeah, I guess that's just sort of how I got started, and then it just kind of exploded from there.
Well, I was browsing Ponychan's media, and that's when I first saw some of your stuff, EB. And I was like, all right, cool. And I went and downloaded it and played Evil Enchantress. And then I played the next one, and then I played by the next one. And in my iTunes, I told you this earlier, but I'm going to say it on the show. If you were to look at my top 25 most played, well, right now my top song is Golden Cupcakes with 40 plays. But good then song. Fifth is Evil Enchantress with 30. And then further down, Fluttershy's, Lullaby, then the Cupcake Sleep Beat Mix, Art of the Dress. So, of my top 25, 6 of them are Eurobeat Brony songs. And then there's quite a few others that are in there, At the Gala, the official version has 21 plays.
Oh, yeah.
I like that song.
That's a good one. I love that. Man.
That's cool. It's just been interesting to see how this thing has expanded. Just I honestly never expected that. I remember people early on were like, make an album. I'm like, what? I've done 3 of these. It's just to see how it's really taken off. I'm just honored that people are actually liking my stuff just in the first place. I'm used to doing just remixes that'll get 1 or 2 plays a week or something like that. Just not a lot of attention. Suddenly it's like, oh, these people like what I'm doing. Just a very, very good feeling for someone that's been trying to get this right. I'm honored, definitely.
Yeah, very cool. And to the point that it sounds like with at least some of the later remixes that Daniel Ingram, the music guy that we've ended up talking so much about because of how he's kind of been hitting the internet recently. I don't know if it was you reached out to him or he reached out to you just to kind of get the remixes set. But kind of tell us about how that collaboration started up.
Okay, here's how that went down. I just sort of as I know it. At one point, when Tech interviewed him for Equestria Daily, he name-dropped me and actually gave some really awesome compliments, which took me completely by surprise. the guy that actually made the music that, I'm remixing actually likes it and actually had that much to say about it. So, I shot him an email just sort of saying, thank you for actually going out and listening to the stuff about the show and just saying that about me, and just sort of filling him in on what I had coming up next. And then after at the gala, when I had the full version out, he actually sent me an email just saying that one turned out pretty well and that he liked how it sounded. So that's kind of the extent that we've really talked. But we've had a little back and forth. I'd say that counts. The fanboy in me would say that definitely more than counts.
Yeah. The fact that he even knows who a Eurobeat Brony is fantastic, and I for one would take that any day. Yeah. And how heavily invested?
Oh my God, they acknowledge my existence, right?
Yeah,
that's what's great.
That's always great.
Big in the field actually knows who I am. Yay.
And I was just kind of curious, but just because of what you said earlier, were you heavily into the show before you started doing the remixes, or were you just kind of on the periphery and it just kind of fed it? I was just kind of curious by what you said.
When I started, I was kind of starting out. I was kind of looking for a new show to do, and I don't know, I was big on anime at the time, but I wasn't really too enchanted with much. I was kind of looking for something to keep myself sort of occupied. My grandpa died in October, and I've been trying to, keep myself a little occupied since then. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, I was kind of iffy on it. It was interesting, but, I was still kind of iffy. It's like, whoa, Ko is talking about ponies. Is this like a trolling thing, or are they just kind of trying to start something? By about, gosh, what was the third one I did? Giglet the Ghosty, I think? By about the third song, I was a dedicated Brony for sure. But like around the first two, I was still kind of, okay, this is kind of cool. It's not insulting my intelligence. It's bearable. They're not trying to get them to act like humans. It's cool, And right about the third one, I was really in.
Cool. This might be a little bit techie. This might be a little bit more advanced. But what processes do you use? What programs do you use? Like if you come down and you have a particular songs, like let's say at the gala, we could use that as an example. What's your process of taking the version that's in the show and turning it into an actual song?
Okay, so I watch an episode, and if there's a song there, I'll sort of keep track of where it is, and I'll open up Logic. I run a Logic Pro 9 on a MacBook Pro. I spend about half price on it, so I don't have Mac tax on it, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I'll just play it again and again, and I'll click in some of the notes. I'll click in some of the notes of the original melody just to get a framework. But I'll do a little bit of that, and that will usually inspire the whole synth brass thing. I wanted to keep something sort of elegant for, in this case, at the gala, so, I'll have an idea of how the song is supposed to go. It's like, okay, this one's supposed to have a sort of majesty, and each pony has a different thing that has a different sort of feeling to it, so, sort of apply it accordingly. I'll flesh it out. I'll get the beat, the 4 to the floor, the bass, the little stabs on the upbeat, and the synth brass down, usually, if I'm not working on the melody. And then I'll just flesh it out, add some sounds to really boost the mood in that specific time, and have at it. A little bit of theirs, a little bit of Ingram's, a little bit of mine.
Mm-hmm. Like for instance, what would be a particular song that you've had to probably add or play with the most, kind of to get something that would be that would work? Because this is Eurobeat; it's got kind of a set form to it. It
really does.
So, which one has kind of needed the most kind of tweaking and modification?
That's a good question. I would put that on. Let's see. Gosh, I'm trying to remember some of the ones that I've done. Let's see. Cutie Mark Crusaders was a little difficult, but gosh, there's another one. Actually, the main theme really took some finagling for me. Like, just really to get it set, because it had its own sort of cadence. It sort of worked well enough on its own. Mm-hmm. So to get it into this frantic sort of multi-part, Eurobeat length tune was a little difficult. And it's not one of my prouder works either. Gosh, another one that was kind of difficult to work with. Evil Enchantress was actually kind of tough, because it's just short.
Yeah.
It's a very brief. I took the Flutter Guy version, although it's very hard to tell because I kind of destroyed the later part of it. But, gosh, that's a cool thing about working with these, though. They're all pretty easy to work with, But to answer the question, like, Kingdom Hearts Crusaders, Evil Enchantress, by pretty much a long shot.
Mm-hmm. And I'll have one last question here, and I don't know if Chef's got any more. But where did the Ralph stuff come from? Where did the little just extra characters added to the very end? Like, where did that come from, and why did you decide to kind of add those in?
Okay, originally I was just going to release that song with just instrumental, just very sparse in the beginning, sparse at the end. But I'm like, you know what? This song has just so much humor to it, so much fun, that I can't have it start so boring in the beginning. So, I just thought I'd have this sort of cowboy, this trio of cowboys around a fire just going,
well, here's a story a little pink pony told me about friendship.
And I was very inspired by, Flarby's from 5 Second Films. And it just kind of took off from there. I didn't realize, I just didn't think about it at the time, but it just seemed like a good idea. And then just adding a little banter at the end just to kind of extend it, just kind of make it more interesting. It's kind of what the song needed, and yet still sort of extraneous. I just had a lot of fun with it, and I think it actually kind of helped it out.
Mm-hmm. And then they show up at the gala and everything. They show up in a few others afterwards. Just
Why didn't we get picked to play?
Why didn't we get invited to play the gala this year?
Shut up, Ralph.
I still need to record. There's one last thing that I need to do where Ralph gets his comeuppance. Gosh, I never really expected to take them very far. It was a very last-minute thing for at the gala. I just included it as like a little gimmick back when I thought that it would be the last track. But they were a lot of fun to do.
So are you? I'll just do one more, and then Chef can run. So we've got season 2 way off in the distance. So as I said, there's definitely going to be a little bit of a lull between then and now, and it sounds like you've got definitely some other projects you're working on too. But once season 2 kicks up, can we expect to probably see some more?
Absolutely. Once that comes back around, Eurobeat Brony will be full force. I'm not going to stop doing Eurobeat in the interim time. I'm definitely a very busy musician for the time being. But Eurobeat Brony will definitely be 100% back when Season 2 starts. In fact, I'll probably be even a little more on my game because now I know what I'm up against, mostly. And, I'll actually be starting with the beginning of the show as opposed to waiting until, when did the show start? October? September?
Mm-hmm. And pretty much October.
So I won't be 3 months in, 4 months. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to
hit the ground running and be on top of it as the new songs come out. One thing I was going to ask is you've done a couple alternate versions, which I think are pretty cool. Like, what was it? I think there was like a jazz version of Luna that you did that was just really out there, but also really creative. And I was wondering, are you planning to do much in the way of other alt versions? I know that within the My Little Pony music Uber archive that's floating around there, it's a 1.2 gig torrent. They've got like the Luna Nightmare uncorrected vocals, Eurofashion 155 BPM mix. Yeah. You've got a couple that are just like the instrumental versions.
Well, the case with those is I've had requests over the last few months. We don't. The song is too slow for Eurobeat. Was one complaint for Art of the Dress. Although 145 is definitely actually within the perfect realm of Eurobeat. It's, once you hit 140, it starts becoming more Italo disco. But just something that I wanted to consider. People weren't shouting into the void there for something that they would be more interested in listening to. Besides, upping the BPM is a very quick thing for me. Just click and drag the mouse up a couple ticks and then it's done. I didn't like how it turned out, but if they want that and they've been downloading it actually quite a bit, then what works for them. It was just sort of one-offs and what-ifs. There was a few songs that I planned on including with that, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I've been sort of busy with other stuff at the time. But there'll be a couple more, but it was just sort of an interesting idea that I kind of bounced around with. Not a very official thing.
I just came across the jazz one. I was like, that's actually really neat. And I haven't had it that long, so it doesn't have that many plays on it, but it's certainly definitely creative. It's got 2 plays. I only got it recently.
I like making jazz when I'm not making Eurobeat, which is rather unusual given the circumstances. One's very rigid and "Everybody, all day in my beaten," and the other one's very, jazz, sort of like laid back, you know. No, let's play with the beat a little bit, you know, a little soul to it. Yeah, gosh, that one. There was someone posted something on the comments of Not a Clever Pony's release that the stuff that I was putting out seems to be all that I was capable of doing. And, you know, I'm not usually one to respond to trolling or anything like that. Or if they were being honest, then, you know, they kind of made a good point. I mean, even if they were being honest, I like to accept criticism. So, you know, I thought about it, and I'm like, you know, they're kind of right. I've been sort of stuck in this Eurobeat groove, pun not intended, you know, for a while. It'd be nice to, you know, get something out there that's a little more different.
Okay. Chef, did you have anything else, or?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Let's see. Well, let's. I'll bring this one up. So let's do some shout outs to some other artists out there. Are there any other musicians that you really like? Let's give them a little bit of props that you think do just stellar work, and that maybe particular songs that you've liked that have kind of hit the stream.
Absolutely. My first one has to be Not a Clever Pony. That guy can compose. That guy is absolutely awesome. He actually contacted me recently over DeviantArt, and he was doing a remix contest or something like that. And he recently started enjoying some of the problems that Bandcamp poses for free music. And, you know, we just started having a conversation. This guy is just absolutely very gifted. If you guys haven't bought his album, I heavily encourage that you do so. Just really runs the gamut, and just all of it very high quality. Who else? Energy Force, I believe her name is. Never really got the chance to meet them in person, but also very good. Very not as complex as Not a Clever, but still very enjoyable. Very good remixes. I really like. Gosh, I'm not sure if it's his or her. I really like their work. Another artist definitely worth checking out. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more artists than I can list off the top of my head, but, you know, just the whole pony music scene is actually very talented, and I'm sort of surprised given the circumstances. Not a lot of fandoms have very good groups, and I'm very honored to be amongst good musicians like that.
Yeah, it's all pretty crazy just to see this show that's literally about, you know, ponies for little 7-year-old girls, and it's got a dedicated fanfic community, a dedicated music community that's generating its own thing, you know, from, you know, Not a Clever Ponies, you know, full orchestral, completely, you know, self-contained, you know, they're just these completely new things, all the way down to your weird, you know, Unanimous Delivers, YouTube mashup stuff that just sounds insane. You sit there and
like death metal stuff.
Yeah, just
that's another one. That's
go for it.
Oh gosh, he's kind of fun. The guy that does that did the really short Evil Enchantress cover. He's another one that's worth checking out. I forget.
Oh, with the electric guitar.
Yeah.
I have it on my
cover.
floor, and it does not have any information on it.
Will you pardon me a second? My laptop is starting to run out of juice.
Sure,
here.
I can go off on a few of the ones that I like right offhand. One of them that I have to pull up.
I'll be right back.
No problem. I know that the one that's been kind of taking. There's two songs that have really been absorbing my brain. The first, and both of them are both using the Giggle at the Ghosty song. The first one is the Giggle at the Ghosty 20% Cooler remix. I believe it's the shot.
Salted Crisp?
Yes, that one. Oh, God. I wish it was longer. It's only like 2 minutes and 30-ish seconds. But man, is that remix just crazy. I love it. That Giggle at the Ghosty remix. I'll listen to it at work and just be like, now my day's a whole lot better. And there was another one that was a giggle that I think it was the Easy Beat mix. That came out a few weeks ago that was just like, okay, this is both of them are just like, okay, I'm having a crummy day, let me put this on. Oh, great, now my brain's on ponies, now everything's better.
Giggle at the Ghosty is very conducive for very good remixes, and it's just a lot of fun to work with from personal experience. So I think, it's just, if I remember right, that's one of Ingram's favorites himself, so like, just a very fun song to work with, just to listen to. I don't think you can really go wrong with Gig Let the Ghosty in any form. You could put it in death metal and it would still make you happy, like, you're just like, yay! And may I never do that again.
Yeah.
You giggle at them like that, and they just run away.
Really, Eurobeat's bringing the voices today, and obviously destroying himself in the process.
It's a worthy cause.
Suffer for your art.
Chef, what's some of the interesting ones you've got on your playlist right now? You've obviously loaded yourself up.
Yeah, my current playlist is 4 hours and 42 minutes, and I just downloaded the Megatorrent, so I'm going to be adding more. But two of the ones that I think are really good are Rainbow Crash 88 has been doing some good 8-bit chiptune stuff, the themes for a while.
Oh,
and
is that?
I guess that's what he's going by? Rainbow Crash 88, 8-bit Brony? Okay.
Another good artist. Absolutely.
Probably the same person. I have the Winter Wrap-Up chiptune, because when I first got into the whole pony thing, Winter Wrap-Up was stuck in my head for more than a week.
Oh, God, yeah.
And so I was
all of us.
I was like, all right, variations upon the theme, I'm okay with this. Because I seriously had this stuck in my head for so long. And then Psy and Chain Algorithm, they've done, they're two people, I'm pretty sure. They've not done too many that I have, but like Apple Skytree is this really experimental type sound with, then She's Just a DJ Unicorn. They're one of those things that I've had for a while, and I'm not sure if they're still doing stuff, but if you look those two songs up, they're pretty worthwhile.
Yeah, and Chain also, we also use a Chain Algorithm, the actual intro to the show is actually by Chain Algorithm. It's the Friendship Forever mix. That they have, and it's
yeah, they did that too.
Yeah, and that's I love that one. I was listening to that so much during the beginning. So yeah, if you're curious, I link it on every single episode. You can go down there and check out the Friendship Forever mix, and definitely find that, because that is a great just kind of play off of the regular intro of the show, and it's just kind of gentle and add some vocals and everything to it, and it's just kind of I like it. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, the two songs I listed were Apple Skytree and She's Just a DJ Unicorn, D-Pony style. Those are the two. Mm-hmm. So,
okay. Anything you wanted to bring up? Bring up EB over there. You got any other particular notes before we move on?
I'm trying to think. Not really, other than, I don't know, I've had a few people come by and drop me questions about tech or whatever, different parts of remixes or whatnot. I actually welcome any sort of questions about tech or whatever. People ask how to get those sounds. By all means, drop me a line, and I can definitely get you help and get you set up on that. Like, one of the big things is, like, how do I get that synth brass? How do I get, that bass? And I can finally tell people where to go for that. So, feel free to drop me a line at any time, music-wise, just anything, really.
Yeah.
We like that sort of thing, we musician types.
See if we can force you into doing a little D&B or dubstep sometime in the future, just the weird wah-wahs and crap like that. God. Oh, does that hurt your
really,
head?
Dubstep?
Nah, I'm just saying. It's so like weird garbage, just like, oh, what's going on in my head? This is It's like,
I don't know, like,
it's like tossing keys in a blender and just being like, there's something weird about it, and yet why do I listen? This is unusual.
I don't know. That's a cool thing about, like, the pony stuff, though. Like, they've been able to change my mind about a few genres. Like, someone made a pony dubstep. I kid you not. Like, and I gave a listen to that, and it's like, I don't hate this. I think, and then I started listening to other dubstep, and it's like, I don't hate this as much. Or, in the case of Deadmau5, I don't hate this. How does this work?
Yeah.
Confound these ponies. They drive me to open minds of music.
Yeah,
was that the showstoppers,
the Cutie Mark can say, yeah, that one, that one was so crazy.
Lagging a little bit.
Sorry.
Hold on a sec.
Oh, no problem.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, the Cutie Mark Crusaders one, I think that was the song that at least I've listened to, where it's just like, And I'm with you. A lot of dubstep, I'm like, what's going on here? There's just some weird bass and some bizarre wah-wah going on. This is...
Just sounds like...
Yeah.
Why do I do this?
Because you're performing, sir. That's why. You feel like you must.
Yeah. All the world's a stage, yes.
Yes. So,
You were saying, though.
No. Just the weird stuff that's out there right now. It's just interesting. I mean, and I'm the same way. There's, I mean, I will admit and I think Chef kind of stated this as well when we first kind of were talking about ponies ages back, of just like, dude, listen to this stuff. It's Eurobeat, and I'm not usually, I'm usually like, oh, come on, that all sounds the same. But I'm just like, dude, it's what a wrap up, and it's in Eurobeat, and it sounds really damn good. Holy crap, I should listen to more. Holy crap, I like these too. So,
I hate to brag here, but a few people that really hated Eurobeat before the show have started to listening to it more often, just to do some of the stuff. And I'm like, yes, converts! Confound these ponies, they drive me to Eurobeat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wrapping it all the way around to the confound thems.
Yep. Ooh, I do believe the Red Bull is kicking in.
There you go. You are quite animated and making weird noises at this point, so that's fine. So that probably means that we should
That's
probably...
usually just Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we should probably move in. Time for our one cool thing. We need to go ahead and tell everybody one really kick-ass little bit of internet pony stuff that they can take a look at and have some fun with. Mine this week is going to be the fact that girls like My Little Pony too. I know it's shocking that this show that was made specifically for 18 to 30-year-olds is popular with little girls, but you can actually... I know. So bizarre.
How crazy.
I know, it's just strange. Why would they like something like this? My girlfriend keeps giving me angry glances as I say this.
Don't they know that multicolored ponies talking about friendship and love and wearing cute things is for men? That's a man's place.
I know, bizarre.
Emily is show on television.
So my link here goes over to some embedded videos on Equestria Daily, where we have let's see if we can find out a little bit more information. So we have this little girl who loves ponies to the extent that she has remembered the entire first 2 episodes, to the point that she remembers it. She gives you every single line from every single one of them. And she looks to be about 7. So she's one of those kids that just have watched it and absorbed it so much. And there is how many comments? There is 140 comments at this point. Everyone's saying, oh my God, this is the most adorable thing on the planet. She is awesome. So if you want to watch, if you want to watch
I have to watch it.
Yeah, if you want to watch a little girl just do every single character and act, and even do, I think the moment you lose it is when she does Applejack's little accent. You're gone.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
gone. It is great. So, yep, me talking about awesome little 7, 8, 9-year-old girls who love ponies too. So, much bro hoof love to little 9-year-old girl.
Sure.
All right, Chef, what you got?
All right, so I think my cool thing is really extra super cool. It's the artist training ground on Equestria Daily. It's basically encouraging newbie artists to draw. It's being run by Foe at equestriadaily.com, and each day they've been posting a newbie artist training ground post with the day's theme, and then the next day posting the art for it. And they get about 200 picks for day 9. They got about that many. It's a bit more at the start, but I'm doodling it. I'm doing it. I've been really bad about submitting them though, but it's good to encourage artistic expression within the community, and a good way to get more people involved in keeping the pony train rolling through the break.
Mm-hmm. I know.
So I think that is commendable.
Yeah, I know a bunch of people who particularly have never done any drawing before, or I went and hung out with Midnight, and he's like, I'm a terrible drawer, and I'm he's doing a whole bunch of stuff just trying to draw, people just working. I found out a mutual friend ends up doing a whole bunch of pony work. And Chef Sandy is now holding up all of his pony sketches. So
good work, my friend.
Yes,
good work. Two of
they
them
do exist.
Yes, you can get the first edition of Chef Sandy Pony Work, or at least find it on on Equestria Daily. You can get your first originals of the soon to be great artist Chef Sandy. Oh, look at that! He's grimacing. That obviously brought great pain. Okay, Eurobeat, you've got a little something here, and you said that it's not entirely pony related, but it does kind of touch a little bit. So if you want to explain your cool thing, this collaboration you've got going.
Okay, yeah. If I'm allowed to bring up non-pony, I will make up for it though in just a sec. Odyssey Music recently did a collab with an up-and-coming artist named Exile. And you can check that out. It's not Eurobeat, but it's definitely sort of more of that dance sort of sound. I think you guys will really like it. It's at, I'm going to type in the URL here just to get it clarified. Exile.bandcamp.com. It's at exile.bandcamp.com. And you guys should really check that out. He and I actually did a lot of work to really make this sound awesome, and I think we made it work. Yeah, definitely give that a check out. And to make up for the lack of pony of that, here is a less than 30-second drawing of a pony I did.
Yeah. Too bad nobody else can see it, but yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's there in spirit. You guys who can't see it, it's awesome. And there's like all this fire and explosions behind it, and he's like drinking Jack Daniels and Red Bull at the same time.
Wait, hold on.
Awesome.
I need to.
Volcano.
Yeah, I need to see that one more time. Let's see.
All right.
Print screen. All right, I got proof. I print screened it. So there. We're gonna get to put that up on the. I'll include that on the on that if I remember.
20 seconds.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
yep. I got the. I got
that's just to make up for it.
Yeah, I got the Exile up there, so you can definitely check that out on the show notes. We've got that listed. And I think that does it. I don't have any one last question or anything like we sometimes do. So I think, and we are at how many? We're an hour and something odd in. We usually try and keep these to 45 minutes, so that never works.
Good to go.
I ramble on too long.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's awesome to have you on.
All good.
Great to talk about music. Hope to see you around sometime if we ever end up meeting up or doing a Brony meetup, something like that. It'd be great to see you around.
Yeah.
Or have you on the show.
Glad to be here.
Cool.
Yeah, glad to be here. I actually have a couple things coming up. I may do a quick Skype thing with the New York City Brony meetup. So if you happen to catch up on that, might be able to wire you in there too.
Okay.
We'll see. But I'll if there's something that happens nearby and I can afford to get there, then yeah, definitely I'd love to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Oh, go ahead, Chef.
I was going to say that next weekend we should have Purple Tinker on, and they can tell us about how their meetings are going and all that other stuff.
Yeah, so, got that going. So yeah, we've got a definite fun slate of guests coming. At least the next 2 weeks have been figured out. We've got Purple Tinker and a special guest coming after that, which we're very excited about. Nice. Not to get hopes up too much, is nobody. I tell you what, I won't go any further. But very very
Said
cool.
Too much already.
Yeah. But yeah, very fun. But let's do the lowdown. I want to thank once again Eurobeat for coming in here. Very awesome to have you on. Love your work, and I'm sure a bunch of our listeners appreciate it too.
Y'all are awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Bro Hoofs. There you go.
Bro Hoof.
Yep. If you want to find out more about the show, why don't you head over to Brony Show? We've got our stuff. We've got some awesome articles up by Bullshit, our nice little friend who does a lot of editing and sometimes posts some articles for us. He helps us out with the show, so always thanks a ton, dude, for making us actually sound like, we're legitimate and somewhat good. Always great. You can check us out there. Leave us a review on iTunes. That would be great. 5 stars or even awesome. Leave a little note because I actually read those, and those make me feel good. And as is, that should be pretty much all we have. OC Uploader might be fixed soon. So So we'll see.
Also, we actually have the official AppleCider and Chef Sandy character references up there. There's a Cast of Brony Show page, so you can now draw us or write us into your ship fix or use us as cameo characters. Or
what have you done?
We've been threatened a lot. We haven't seen what's going to happen, but the onslaught shall occur.
We've been threatened a lot, but you know what? Somebody step up and do it.
Oh,
make us cringe.
Oh, look at that!
Or not. Please don't.
Oh God,
Sandy, what have you done?
What were you doing? It's now going to be,
bro.
It's going to be a grimdark ship at this point. Thanks. Going to be
cupcakes too. It's not just ponies anymore.
And that does us. I think we're good. God. I'm done with the show.
It's over.
Yep. So once again, thanks to our great guests. Thanks to Chef Sandy for coming in. Been great, and we'll have another full pony-filled episode coming for you next week. All right, that should do it.
Subscribe to these guys; they're awesome.
Woo! Sleep well, bronies.